What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tony Bellew, Moses Itauma, Andy Ruiz. Get this. According to Tony Bellew, he said, the next fight I'd like to see, Moses is in with someone on the level of Andy Ruiz. He's the perfect contender. And Moses is guaranteed to go a few rounds against Andy because under no circumstances can Moses fight Alexander Usyk without going through at least 6 rounds. This can't happen, Bellew said. And let me counterpunch. I do think that's a very good opponent. If this was a few years ago, I would say Joe Joyce, because Joe Joyce, could take shots and you're guaranteed rounds, but now he's out of the picture as far as durability. But Andy Ruiz is still one of those guys that is known to have a good chin. He can take a punch. He's tough. He won't quit. I think that Andy has fast hands, and I think it's important to be versatile in many styles, not just people that are slower, but most importantly with Andy Ruiz, he's fast. And I think Moses needs to know what it's like to be in there with someone also quick instead of just being powerful. Because I think what it is, Moses has the upper hand because he's a lot faster than these guys are. These guys may have the height and the size and all that, maybe the power, but none of that matters if you don't have the speed to generate to the opponent, okay? If you can't hit the opponent, what good is it, any of that? And Moses has been very successful in exploiting that fact, okay? Andy Ruiz, you have to reach out and touch him. You have to come in there, and Moses is a guy that does like to mix it up, especially with a guy with upper body movement, with fast hands, with good counterpunching ability, and with a good chin. So if Moses does come in and he wants a nice little scrap, I think he'll be on his, I think that will be something that he can learn from. And I think more importantly, that fight will teach him a lot about head movement. I think it will make him more respectable to defense. Because a lot of these fights, if you notice, he hasn't had to show head movement like that. He's shown footwork, not head movement. And I think with Andy, he's going to have to learn that and practice that. And it's another box that needs to be checked. Because, see, I'm still across the fence with Ben Davidson because, again, I just think Moses Itauma is a very good talent. I don't think that that's more of a trainer thing versus a fighter thing. The fighter, a lot of times has most of the ability, the attributes, and then the trainer just adds to that. Well, in this case, I think it's all Moses. Ben Davidson is good at attacking and, working on certain attacks, but I think he lacks defense because he's too busy on blasting out his opponent. And that's what we've seen Moses do. So if we see Moses do exactly how Ben Davidson wants of him, but not really make him respect defense, we may have a problem. But I think that's what it's all about. I think that's about learning. I think if Andy does surprise him with a counter, then he'll be like, okay, this shit's real. This is different. You know what I mean? And then we can see what Ben Davidson can do for him. Okay. But I do like that idea. I do think that Tony Bellew is right, especially going in there with Alexander Usyk as well, because there is no way that an intelligent team would throw Moses in there with somebody like Usyk, that is the king of 12 rounders, that he can go 15 5-round fights. Because that's how he trains. You guys know that, right? He does 5 15-round fights. That's how he does it. That's how he spars. So, he has to get in and out sparring partners for those. But he consistently does that so he can go the distance. This is a marathon man and a damn thoroughbred. So he's a quarter horse and a thoroughbred at the same damn time. He's a combination. Because not only can he kick up the pace like someone running a 100-yard dash, he can also run a mile. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that Moses going in there with someone like Usyk, it would be very bad for him right now, because who's to know if he won't get tired? Because here's the deal. If we're still talking about Moses taking on Alexander Usyk, Moses, you have to understand, who Moses is blasting out guys that don't have it, or had it and no longer have it. So he's easy to hit these guys. You know, he makes it very easy, because I mean, it's these guys are on this level. Well, when you reach to the top of the ceiling, damn near, if not the top, this is what you're going to deal with. You're not just going to deal with somebody that that you can throw these combinations, that up and down. No, because he also has his own feints, and you also have to deal with him. And but can you do that with that difficulty 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 rounds? So Tony's right. I mean, there's no sense of putting Moses in there with somebody like Usyk, someone known to grab and drag you into deep water and then drown you without going the proper amount of rounds in a professional fight. It just does not make sense. But you guys tell me what you think of Tony Bellew's next opponent for Moses Itauma, Andy Ruiz. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.